His straight Hollywood blockbuster with three big names, Ice Cube, George Clooney, and Mark, and halfway through.
There are very interesting things that happen to people who work a lot with documents. If you work a lot in archives, you often get sick because the dust pollutes you. Documents do infect you. Derrida's whole essay on archive fever is about that, but separate question. But documents do make you immune to the vanity of thinking of some things as more real than others. And as a seasoned documentary practitioner, I know that my problem is that everything is real. Right?
And not.
No, everything is real. Formal problems arise because often there is, whatever we do has to be in some senses an abbreviation of the incredible complexity of the world. We have to end somewhere. The work of art has to end. And by its very ending, it must admit to not being able to do everything. In order to end, it must construct sometimes a hierarchy which is simply dictated by the chronology of its utterance. Things
And exclusion.
And exclusion. You construct a frame, things are outside the frame, you begin and you end, there are things that happen before, you begin and you end. Often people like us who are really find it very difficult to deal with these things, then end up doing things like, okay, we'll have more than one frame, which is why Naeem has 27. We'll have more than one screen, which is what, in Raqs
we'll have an endless loop.
We'll have endless loops, there are no beginnings and ends. But the fact of the matter is, our work has a beginning and it has an end. In doing that, we are forced to produce, however much we like it or not, the appearance of a hierarchy of an order of real. We are forced to construct the appearance of ontological hierarchies. The problem is,
like human body in human life.
yes, exactly. The problem is that this appearance of a hierarchy or appearance of a chronology or the appearance of a frame sometimes makes it possible for people to think that it can be a reasonable expectation that the work of art reduces and simplifies complexity in order to end. At least in order to end. Baba Thamo, right? Now, and this is a really difficult, it's a working question, it's a problem of every practitioner's everyday's practice.
Yes.
Right? I insist that we have to be honest to ourselves by saying that while we do have to end, our construction of an ending or a frame must not be confused with our assent to the idea that reality can be framed or ended. This is only an arbitrary point that we're taking so that we can get on with our lives and you can also move on from the work of art to other things. Right? So, if every work of art, be it a book, a novel, a play, or a film, or a poem, or a picture, is appearing at a point of some kind of complicity between the viewer and the producer, saying that, okay, right now we will leave this and go away. Then, if that departure from the work can occur on terms that are friendly and say that neither I as an artist have given you the answer to why I did this, nor you as a viewer have received from me the benediction of a simplicity of understanding, then we can part as friends. If, however, you as a viewer demand of me that I suspend my honesty to the complexity of life in order to produce for you something that you can take away as samajh aa gaya, then I won't be honest to myself and you won't be honest to your work as a viewer. What we can do is to say that these are all very modest professional moments with things that we're talking about, the questions of witnessing, people have been talking about for the last 10,000 years, right? One Naeem, Mohaiemen or one Raqs Media Collective saying something about witnessing will not end that conversation. It will continue hopefully for another 10,000 years. We are just putting signposts on that road. In the process of putting signposts on the road, we can be clear as to what is behind us and what is ahead of us and what is to the left of us and what is to the right of us. So I am, for instance, in all my writing, I insist that one writes with a kind of a militancy of simple English, plain English, right? Where the construction of a sentence or the appearance of a word has no excuse other than its ability to perform a function of saying what is necessary to be said. That does not mean the thought is simple. For me, the models of writing, for instance, a philosopher like Nagarjuna or like Wittgenstein, write in the simplest of sentences. Any literate adult can say where the subject and the predicate lies in one of those sentences. But it's very few literate adults who can actually comprehend that sentence on its first reading. And I think that the question of form, the demand that we can make of form as artists, is somewhat similar. Is that the form does not play, for me, good form is when it doesn't play tricks with itself or pretend to be something that it's not, but at the same time never hides its own incapacity to offer comprehensive solutions or answers.
But then let's also point out that maybe not this particular one, but the idea of the artist talk after a show or at an opening completely turns that upside down.
Well, that's why, you do those artist talks?
What happens is
Have you ever done them?
forcing her to come back or trying to force her to come back